Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. We're joined this week by another special guest, none other than South Sydney gun back rower, Jacob Host, or otherwise known as the King of Bungalow D Floor. Hosty, welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hey, mate, thanks for having me on. That King of Bungalow dance floor is very debatable. I'll take it.
Yeah.
We saw you, definitely the king. And we'll second right behind you.
100%.
We'll give you that
100%.
one. 2023, let's get straight into it. Year of the Rabbit. Is there a good feeling in the club? Does it feel special?
Yeah, man. Like, it's been a lot of talk around that sort of omen of the Year of the Rabbit amongst the group, but it's been real good. Prep's been like real solid throughout the preseason. We've got a fairly healthy squad going into round one, and yeah, the standard of the training's just been outstanding since we've been back in. It was like late November.
Yeah,
it's been everyone's really bought into the standards and the example set by JD, and it's looking really exciting, to be honest.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Can't
awesome.
wait for it.
Yeah.
And how's the preseason been treating you?
Yeah, it's good. Happy I've seen the worst of it now. It's like we're a week out from the season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you sort of get to the end of the preseason, you think, all right, that's another one done, and you can sort of not put the feet up, but like you've done all the work, get ready for the year, and yeah, it's exciting. We've had the 2 trials, and I feel like we probably showed what we can do, but not quite where we want to be yet. But that's what trials are for. Get the cobwebs out, and yeah, it's been good. It's good to be back on the field with the boys.
Any youngsters have sort of any standouts
heaps.
in preseason?
We played in that Manly trial up on the Central Coast, and there was plenty of the young fellas put their hand up. It was their first real taste of that sort of exposure in the first grade sort of light. Young Dion was unbelievable. I was
5'8".
playing on his
Killed
bench, and it was like he'd been playing for 10 years.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Similar to like Cody Walker's game.
Yeah,
It was just
yeah.
on fire.
Real off the cuff, like just plays what's in
Yeah.
front of him, and he was pretty vocal too. And we were in defence, that's what you want in a young half, someone that's going to be able to direct their troops around. And yeah, it's pleasing to see. And then young Tallis Duncan as well.
Yeah.
He's
a
a
hard
weapon.
hitter, eh?
Oh mate,
Oh,
he's
wouldn't wanna
he
run
puts a
into
headgear
him.
on and it changes his personality completely. Yeah, no, it's exciting times for the future as well for South.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty exciting to be a part of.
And you actually captained that game. How did that feel?
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually know that I was going to captain that week. Obviously, I talked to JD saying like, "What's the plan for me to play?" He's like, "Yeah, you'll play the first 40." And then I was just at home chilling out, and my mum called me. It was I think it was like 4:05. It was like Team List Tuesday. And then she goes, "Oh, you're playing?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm playing." He's like, "Are you captain as well?" And I was like, What are you talking about? I jumped on the Instagram, and then I had all these tags from people saying congrats Skip, all that kind of stuff.
good's
and I was
that?
like, I'm not really the real skipper. I think it's like, are you the captain for the whole year? We have Cam Murray now.
Step down, Cam. The host is coming up.
I'll take the reins. But yeah, no, that was honestly a real proud moment for me in my career. Never captained a first grade side before. I haven't done it since the 20s, I think.
Oh, wow.
And even then, like I was only captain in a handful of games because players were playing in different or injured and stuff like that. So yeah, real proud moment for me.
Has JD told you where you're playing this year? Is it going to be back row, off the bench, or?
Yeah, so obviously we're still a lot of players fighting for positions and that. And the plan, like the goal for me, obviously, is to be that starting back rower. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I'll play anywhere that JD wants me to be. If it's better for me to come off the bench after 20 minutes, like I had been doing the last 2 years, then I'm happy to do that. But if he wants me to start, then I'll start as well.
Probably easier after 20 minutes, no sting in the game.
But like that first 20 minutes, it's just you don't even have to think. You just go out there and try and bash people. So it's like the most physical part, but again, you don't really have to think as much. But yeah, it's 2 different aspects, 2 different mentalities from coming off the bench to starting. But yeah, whatever it is, I'll put my hand up for it.
Sure, and are we breaking the prelim curse this year? Again?
Yeah,
I think
well,
it's the last 5 years we've made the prelim, 1 grand final, 2 prelim defeats.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, obviously, to get to the grand final and take the trophy home. We came so close in 21, but absolutely heartbreaking. Still, I'll never watch that game back.
Never?
I can't do it. I couldn't put myself through it. But but just to get there, that was a special year.
We'll do some little hosty predictions now.
Yeah.
Who do you reckon will get the George Piggins medal?
George Piggins. Well, that's a tough one. Obviously, Junior had such a good year last year. He was super
incredible.
consistent. He's an awesome player to play with. Then you got Cam. It's his second year as captain, and I think he's really starting to. As the season's going on, he was really growing into that role, and I think he's just going to take another step forward. He was fantastic for Australia in the World Cup. I think Cam could be the shout, and then obviously we got such good players all across the park. You got Cookie, Latrell, Cody. Obviously, you got Lockie's in your second year. Like there's honestly you could pick anyone, and
Such a tough one.
Yeah, exactly. So
Gonna go Cam though, locking it in.
yeah, Cam or me.
Well, that's the next question. Who's going to be the most improved this year?
Yeah,
obviously yourself.
Yeah, other than myself. Yeah, we got plenty of youngsters. David Miley's been fantastic in the preseason.
He's
He was
killing it.
He was
We've
so
been
good.
hyping him up for like
so
2
good
years.
against the
I hope he
Dragons.
just had a breakout year.
Yeah, and all the boys were like all behind him too. Like we saw the reaction from everyone when he scored against the Dragons. So yeah, I reckon he's definitely one to watch. And
Has
then
he
you
got bigger?
Yeah,
Over
yeah.
the preseason.
That's
He
what
looks like a man now.
We
Like,
call
I'm
him.
actually scared.
We call him Bunda because he's got the fattest ass in the whole team,
He's
mate.
so
Honestly,
thick.
like he just throws weights around in the gym. We're at training. He's just throwing people around too, and it's like, oh man, in the wrestle room. So we do in preseason. We do wrestle on Wednesdays, or we call it like brawling, but it's basically wrestling. And then he's just in there, just dominating everyone. It's like and it's like I don't even think he's 20 yet. Like he might just be 20.
I think he's 20. Like,
Yeah, so he's still a baby.
Is he the toughest to wrestle with, or is someone like
Him,
Latrell?
Trell, and Shaq, the top three.
Shaq.
And then pound for pound, Cookie, like he's very smart technically as well.
Oh, wow.
And you sort of just get the shits with him
Gets
and
all
want to
the
start
levers
throwing
and the
elbows.
underhooks.
Yeah. I get the shits with him sometimes, but yeah, he's good. Like it's exciting. Like to be a part of this club. I'm very grateful for the position that I am in.
100%. We're very excited as well. But more importantly, are we going to see Hosty's Gametime make a return in 2023?
Yeah, look, I've had some chats with the media people at South, but I need to get more in depth. But yeah, I'm hoping that it does come back because it was a bit of a hit, and obviously it was like very exciting for me to sort of step into that avenue last year, and I'd love to do it again. So if this puts pressure on them, South's menu log, get me back.
Cheers, then bang, you're straight back in.
100%.
Do you think media will be like career path down the future? Are you seeing yourself doing anything like that?
I've not really thought too much about the media, but look, opportunities come up as you progress through your career, and I'd be silly if I said no because a lot of people in the media they have it pretty good. I think they can they can have opinions on things and watch the game, which is something we all love to do, and it's a bit less taxing on the body. So yeah, I would never say no.
100%. Yeah, let's step it back a bit to your early career. So was rugby league always in the forefront of your mind? Did you always want to pursue a career in rugby league?
Yeah, so my old man, he had aspirations to play first grade when he's younger. And unfortunately for him, due to injuries, he actually had shoulder problems. And he never really got opportunities because of those injuries. And then he called it quits when he was quite young. But his passion for the game sort of rubbed off on me. And like going to games when I was younger, we were at Cogra because my whole family on my dad's side are all massive Saints fans, and then my mum's side are all South fans. So it's sort of been like best of
things
both
on your
worlds.
dad's side.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus.
So who'd you go for?
I was a Dragons fan
Okay.
growing up, so it was always like on the hill at Cogra before they had the grandstands and all that kind of stuff. That was where like my best memories growing up watching football were, and that just sort of like from probably 3 years old watching. That's what I remember the youngest age, and then that sort of passion got into it, and I started asking Dad when I can start playing footy around 5, 6, and signed up at a local club, Renown United, which is in Oatley, and yeah, sort of just played there, made heaps of mates, and I was fortunate enough that got recognised by some scouts at the Dragons, sort of played my way through the ranks there, and then it was probably when I was like 18, that's when I sort of thought like, look, I could give this a good shake if I put my head down. And then sort of did and worked my way through the ranks. I've had some good coaches, really good coaches throughout my whole career, from Matthews Cup all the way to now being in first grade. So sort of been very, very fortunate for my journey. And then obviously like when I was younger, I used to be like a front rower. Never even thought about playing on the edge.
Really?
That big boy chucking me in the middle.
Were you a big bopper?
I was.
Chubby,
I was pretty chubby. I used to wear headgear and everything. I was like, what am I doing? And then I remember Benny Hornby come to. He was our SG ball coach just after he retired, and then sort of made a position switch onto the edge, and it's been my position since, I guess. Yeah. It's been a pretty good journey, pretty cool journey too.
Yeah, and you played Australian Schoolboys in 2014 with a few of the South boys.
Yeah,
there,
I was talking to Hame about it today. The Aussie Schoolboys tour, because we were the year that got to go over and do England, France.
Yeah, wow.
How lucky is that?
Honestly, I remember thinking like I was like, because we'd count the years, because it'd go on like 4-year cycle. It'd be like Australia, New Zealand, England, and then it'd be like that England had come to Australia.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
yeah.
Australia, New Zealand, England. And I remember I was going through the years like, oh, actually, we might be on here, go to overseas. And then we played up in the Schoolboys trial, which was up in, it was Darwin. It was bloody hot. I just remember that. And we were playing against each other. We had the CCC team, which we went through undefeated. We had some unbelievable players.
Any players from that team going to NRL?
Yeah, well, I remember I looked at it. It was probably like 14 players went on. We had players like Robert Jennings, Bailey Sirenen, Latrell. We had Nathan Cleary was actually our backup halfback.
Who was the halfback?
Jack Cogger was our
Jack
halfback.
Cogger for the Knights.
Brock Lamb. We had who else did we have? Was it Little or was it? No, Little was in the Australian Schoolboys team. We had Brayley. Brayley, and then Tyrell.
What a stacked team for
we had a stack.
CCC.
We didn't get beat the whole thing, and like a bunch of us got picked, and then obviously we went over the Aussie Schoolboys, and we had all like I'm pretty sure almost every single player's played first grade. So yeah, that was so cool to go over there. We got to when we first landed, we went up and played North against a regional team. And then we played against like the Wigan Academy, Leeds Academy.
Oh, that's sick.
And they were like our trial warm-up games. And they were older than us. We were all under 18. So no one was like really 18. We were all 17, 8, like just under. And they were under 20s or 20s or 21s. So they were like playing against like a lot bigger, like more mature bodies, which is a lot different making that step.
Yeah, right.
We played against them, played England, and then we flew over to France. And that was pretty cool too, like going to a country that like people don't speak English there, or it's not their first language. It was a cool experience, and it's a lot of fond memories going back then. It's just so funny you brought that up because we were just talking about it today.
Did you win all the games there, or how did you go?
So we won every game, and then except for one against England, and then the conspiracy is that they were we were ahead the whole game, and then they scored. We believe it was like the equivalent of the 72nd minute.
Yeah.
I think we were only playing 70 minutes, so it would have been like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And then their timekeeper has called the game as soon as they got in front, and then called it early just because they knew that we were going to come back and win. And so that was that was the talk was going around. Maybe we just lost. I don't know. Yeah, but
we'll go with the time.
We'll call it they jibbed us. But,
And the players that you played against, like who was the best then, like playing Schoolboys? Like was Latrell the freaky?
Yeah, Latrell was absolutely untouchable. I remember, and like he'd get the ball and kick returns, and you just sort of like watch him, and you wouldn't even have to walk past halfway because like he's getting back over. It makes it easy for the middles. There was so many talented players back like in that age group, but Latrell was probably the big standout. We had like Ray Stone as well. He was out there absolutely folding people in half. Like, just he was a weapon back then. As well, we had such a good team. Thinking back on that now, probably if we probably all got together, we'd give any team a good run.
For sure, 100%. And then after all that, how did the deal with the Dragons come about?
Yeah, so obviously working my way up through the ranks at Saints, it was just sort of like a natural progression. I played 20s in 2014 and 15, and I was lucky enough to get the Player of the Year in 15.
Wow.
And then that sort of like kick-started it and had a pre-season. I had a decent pre-season lead into the 16 season, still on a 20s contract. And then I played 8 games in 2016, like my debut year. And then towards the end of the year, they was like, look, we're going to extend you for 3 years. So signed that and got all the way through to the end of 2020. And it was exciting because obviously like I'd been a Dragons fan my whole life.
Yeah.
Playing for your childhood club is something that I think everyone sort of aspires to do. But yeah, it was just unfortunate the way that it sort of went. I think definitely wasn't at the end of my time at the Dragons. I wasn't where I wanted to be career-wise. And then obviously made the move to South.
Do you remember much of your debut? How was all that?
Yeah, so we actually played over in New Zealand. I think it was in Wellington or Mount Smart, one of those two. And so it was, I think it was 2 days before the game. We were about to fly over, get on the bus. We just done our 2 or 3 days, and we just done our last training session. Get on the bus to go to the airport when Mary sort of pulled me aside and he's like, look, mate, you're going to play this week. Wow. Come off the bench because Joel Thompson just got suspended. Yeah. And it was like, there was a lot of toss up about who was going to play. So Will Matthews went into the starting team and then I came onto the bench. He's like, look, you're going to play this week. And I was like, you're kidding. Like, you're absolutely taking the piss.
Yeah.
And he was like, nah, mate, you'll come off the bench. I don't know when you'll come on, but you'll get on. And then I was like, sweet. Got on the phone to my dad straight away, and he's super excited, but then he's like, your mum doesn't have a passport. I was like, you're absolutely kidding. So dad came over, but he brought my uncle Cole as well. So they sort of went together and did like the whole New Zealand Kentucky tour in 2 days, and then made their way to the game. And yeah, I remember I think it was the last 15 minutes I come on, and I was just, my half was, so I went onto the left first, so I was running off Gareth Widdop, got a few touches. My first touch in first grade, so I just run on, the boys defended a set and they put a kick up, and I think it was Ewan caught the ball, or Timmy Laffey caught the ball in the corner, and they've sort of come down. And then, when like you get the big knees in the back and like you're laid down, the ref calls time off, whatever. So I've just come on. They're full New Zealand, like their line is set. And then I'm there, and I remember a Nightingale going, Hosty, you can have the run, get your first touch. And I was like, yeah, sweet, whatever. It's the worst carry to have. Out of the corner, they're fresh because they've had like the stoppage in play. I remember just like catching the ball, looking up, and it's like Blair, Isaac, Luke, and they're just like right there. Absolutely poleaxe, first carry, and I was like, sweet, this is first grade. How good is this? Yeah, but then I remember just the last 15 minutes, like just running around like a chicken with my head cut off. I think I had touched the ball like 5 times in 15 minutes and got stepped by Sean Johnson. I remember thinking like the whole time, like whenever he got the ball, it was like, please pass it, please pass it, please pass it. Don't embarrass me. And there was just one where he sort of just comes to the line and just stepped, and I just sort of like, he sort of got past me. Well, not the worst ever ankle break, but like got past me and then got tackled straight away. So I was like, thank God he didn't go straight through. I would have been having nightmares about that for years. Yeah.
Well, you're right, because Mark Nichols, we interviewed him, and he said that back-to-back years in the Auckland Knights, he got stepped by SJ.
I've seen that. Oh, would hate to have that.
Shocking.
But yeah, and then I just remember being like the most tired I've ever been after the game. I went and see my dad, and like for the next 10 minutes, I was still catching my breath. Like when you do something, like you do some exercise and you have like, you feel like you're coughing up blood and shit like that. I just played like 15 minutes. How am I like this tired? Like,
and you were probably close to 80 playing like New South Wales.
Yeah, exactly. I was like week in, week out playing 80 for Cup. So it's a big step up. Like going from even just 20s to Cup and then Cup to first grade, like huge. It really is like the pinnacle of the sport. But yeah, like it's such a long time ago now. What was that? 2016. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a baby then. There's like photos. I look back and it's like, geez, I look like the biggest child. Like, there's no facial hair, just like everything, all not a hair out of place because I was so like conscious about like doing it.
No, you don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it's like wherever it falls, honestly.
Literally. Do you have any good stories about the Dragons days? Any good like Mad Monday stories or the boys trips or anything that you can mention?
Yeah, there's like had 5 Mad Mondays there. The best Mad Monday I probably ever had was the first one because I got 3 Mad Mondays that year because we had obviously first grade missed out in the finals and we had that Mad Monday and I never really experienced it. And I was like, sweet. And we had like the likes of Ben Cray, Benji Marshall, Jason Nightingale, just guys that have been around for years and like absolute champions. And they sort of just took all the young fellas under the wing. Obviously made us get way more pissed than we should. And like I remember passing out in the toilet and getting like taken back to one of the boys' places to go to sleep. And then they woke me up like 3 hours later. Like, come on, mate, you got to come back out. Like, we're going to go again. We're going to go again.
Bungalow?
No, well, this was all down in Wollongong. So a bit more low key. But yeah, that first year we got to have 3 Mad Mondays because we had the first grade Mad Monday and then the boys that kept playing Cup. We won the New South Wales Cup, had like a Mad Monday celebration after that win. And then we obviously won the State Cup after as well. So it was like, by the end of it, I was an absolute wreck. I was about 7 kilos overweight. I don't even want to look at alcohol again. Because you just like bash in your body and then you bash in your mind and you like your body with all the drink. So that was like a real good introduction to that sort of celebration of a season.
Who's the king of Mad Monday?
The king of Mad Monday, it's probably Benji, to be honest.
Benji?
Yeah. He's got a motto. It's like 1 day in, no days out. So he's in. And when he's in, if he pulls out, he's done. So he'll just go hard.
Until he's out.
Yeah, and that's it. Then he's like, I'm done. I'm going home to see my wife and kids. Family man.
Yeah. Well, we touched on South earlier. How was it getting coached under Wayne Bennett?
Yeah, so that was so cool. Obviously you hear stories about him going for years and years and years. He's been the GOAT for so long.
Yeah.
And that was sort of one of the decisions for me to go to South was to get that, because I knew obviously he was going to leave. So to get that 1 year under Wayne before he did move on, and then JD take over, it was, I reckon, some of the best learnings that I've had in my career in that 12-month period. I remember it was probably, so he didn't rock up to preseason my first year until like January.
Yeah.
He let JD sort of take it because he knew JD's taken over. He wants him to get comfortable and everything like that. So his first session, I remember him absolutely tearing shreds off me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were doing some drill and I had no idea. And he's like, "You big fucking idiot, get out of the way. You don't know what you're doing." And I was like, "Shit." It's like, oh, because I'd never done a drill before, and Wayne makes stuff up on the spot sometimes. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he just absolutely sprayed me. I was like, "Oh, sweet, tail between the legs, go to the back of the line." But yeah, he's unbelievable coach. He's so good as well off the field. Like the stuff that you learn off the field as well, just to get your mind off footy, because obviously it's what we live and breathe every day. And like you'd be lying if you didn't say it's like on your mind almost all the time. Yeah. And he sort of makes sure that you've got something going on off the field that sort of takes you away from the game, so you're not just getting overloaded. And it's like, yeah, a lot of life lessons, a lot of good chats with him. And then obviously on the field, he knows exactly what he wants from his players, and he makes it very simple. Yeah. But it's always super effective. He sort of lets his players express themselves as well, which is why he's been so successful. And it's going to be quite interesting to see how he sort of goes with the Dolphins as well. It's going to be a tough challenge because it's a new franchise with all new players that have come together. So he's a fantastic coach, and I did learn so much from him, and it's stuff that with whatever I'll do with my life going forward, I can sort of carry that as well, which is good. Yeah. He's a good man too.
He's definitely the GOAT. And what do you think JD's similarities are to Wayne?
Well, he sort of coached under him for so many years, and just naturally like that sort of temperament rubs off onto JD as well. And like, because I had JD back in 2016 at the Dragons. He was the reserve grade coach for the Illawarra Cutters. So I had that relationship with him back then. And he is still a lot the same sort of coach, but he's sort of got more philosophies. He's a very deep thinker as well, JD, which is cool because he makes you sort of look at things in a different perspective. I've got the utmost respect for him. He's sort of was the one that contacted me to get me over to South, and I do credit him for sort of reviving my career. So yeah, he's a great man and great coach as well. And I think it sort of showed it last year. We did have a tough start to the year. We were a little bit under what people were expecting of us after a grand final appearance, but yeah, he's going to strength, and it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a real good year for us this year.
Yeah, 100%. It's up and up. Like the end of last year, we're just peaking.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think we'll do the same this year.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you look back at a lot of Wayne Bennett coach teams, they peaked at the right time.
Yep. Yeah.
And then that's what was sort of obviously we came into a very good Penrith outfit in that prelim, and I think we were very unlucky with those two tries before halftime. Sort of killed us. And it would have been a lot different going into halftime 12-0.
That was a dagger, especially that last one.
That try?
Exactly.
We've been definitely the better team.
It's a heartbreaker, yeah. So, but yeah, it's sort of, he knows how to get the players firing at the right times of the year, and not sort of stagnate or ride the roller coaster, because there's obviously you're going to ride the roller coaster with the NRL season. You'd be stupid to think you won't. That's why there's never been an undefeated team. So, it's just making sure the boys are ready to go when they need to. And I think JD's definitely learnt a lot under Wayne to sort of do that.
What is the toughest period during that NRL season? Is it like the origin period when you're forced to fill in multiple roles, or finals time, pre-season? What is it?
Yeah, obviously there's the challenges around origin when you're in a team that gets a lot of players selected or in and around the squad, sort of disrupts the preparation for games on weekends. But I think the most mentally challenging aspect of the season is probably the start, because you don't really it's a clean slate. Everyone's on 0 points. Yeah. You obviously want to start as best you can in the season, and like everyone has their outlooks for the season, like who's got the best start to the year, all that kind of stuff, all these predictions. But like it's the big unknown. Like you don't know what you're going into the season, so that's that mental challenge to start the year that every sort of team follow. And I think that's probably like, other than the origin period and the finals, like the finals is the pinnacle of the game.
Yeah.
You want to be making it there. I think it's an underrated part is the start of the year that people don't really think about too much.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like we see in round one, like there's so many upsets.
Heaps of
Like-
upsets.
Like not Melbourne, like Panthers will lose or Roosters always start slow.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, fuck, you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, it's even you go back to us round one last year. We played Brisbane up there, and I don't think many people expected us to get done. And what we lost,
rolled.
it was like 14-10 or something. And
Yeah.
it sort of shocked a lot of people. And that goes back to like you just don't know. Like you want everyone on the same page going into round one, but it's just getting that week in, week out, and you haven't had it yet. So
100%.
that's what every team faces. We try and do our best throughout the trials to sort of get those combos and get a lot of minutes in.
100%. And one of the things that I researched when looking at your career was the headline about you and Latrell Mitchell fighting at training.
I thought I escaped this.
You can't escape it. Not with no one. It's Latrell in the headline.
Well, that's it. Like that was the most media coverage I've ever had in my career. That's my dad called me up and he's like, "What have you done?" Like honestly, and I was like, "I haven't done anything. Like we were just training." So it was just a random day. It was so honestly, the media couldn't have picked like a better day for them to come to get footage. So they were only meant to film our warm up, and like the media do what they want to do. At the end of the day, they'll film, they'll push the boundaries. Yeah, and they sort of kept the cameras rolling for a little bit longer, and we're doing a defensive drill, and then there was a little bit of a disagreement in the tackle between Latrell and I, and we sort of just came to not blows, but like we got up in each other's face, and it was just a big spectacle. Everyone's coming in, pulling us apart, and like literally a minute later, we were dapping each other up. And then we went and punched on in the sheds.
And you won.
Yeah, obviously.
100%.
But no, like
would you ever do a no limit?
No, I couldn't think of anything worse. Oh man, like trying to take care of my brain as best I can, just playing footy. Yeah. It's like it was so funny because, and then that day we had massage, and there hadn't been anything, like nothing on the phone or anything. And like when I get massage, I leave my phone and I'll pick it up after, and then I put my phone down, and after it, I felt my watch going off, and I was like, oh, it's probably, I don't know, one of my mates on a group chat or something like that. And then it's just everyone just tagged me in it. I had inboxes from kids saying like, please don't fight, like we're not fighting, like 10-year-old kids and that saying like, I don't like seeing team fight. And I was like, we're not fighting, bro. Like honestly, don't believe everything. And then obviously me and Trell sort of were like, oh, let's put something out that like obviously shows that we're sweet. We don't have to show it, like because we are like we were fine like 2 seconds after it, but then they were like, put the stuff out, and then every media have grabbed it and like, oh yeah, they've squashed the beef and everything like that. It's like there was no beef to begin with.
Well, that's the thing with the media. They put a story out there first, and then that's the initial story, generates the clicks, NRL 360.
And especially because it's Latrell. And that's like, it's he's such a superstar that he gets criticised for the most ridiculous stuff. Yeah, I really do feel for him, and that's why like we make sure we always get behind him, and like as a team, and show our support for him. That like we know he's a great person, he's a great teammate, and he's a great player. So we'd be dumb not to show our full support to him, and that's what like all the boys and myself too. When we were when that stuff happened with me and him back last year, like it's nothing. And I was saying, made it very clear in the media that as there is nothing, no attitude problems from anyone in the team, especially Trell. He's probably got the best attitude out of all of us, to be honest. Such a professional, and he's so like hell bent on bringing the team a premiership too. So I hope he does, because I'd love to have a ring.
Yeah, definitely. He's the man to do it. I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. He's had 2 premierships at the Roosters. So
one or the third.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. speaking about rings, you obviously played in that grand final against Penrith.
Yeah.
What was that like experience like, and I guess the intensity of the game?
Yeah, it was real cool. Like the build up for the whole week, it was something that like I didn't really know it was that intense, even though it was affected a lot by COVID. It was still, they made a big emphasis on that build up in the week. We went up to Brisbane early. It was actually my birthday during that week as well. So kind of shit that we lost. Yeah, I know.
Happy birthday, he's a loss.
Yeah, take this fat L. Yes, but we went up to Brisbane early. We did the fan day out in the CBD, and there was heaps of people. We had our open training session just before we left to go up there. No punch-ons, very civil. And what surprised me the most was actually how many South fans are up in Queensland. We had an open training session, and obviously Reno played back in 2014 when they won the comp, and they did the open training session at Redfern. And he said there was like probably 20,000 people like just in the streets everywhere around Redfern watching the boys train. they had a screen up in the park just outside the field.
Yeah.
And it was like unbelievable, he reckons. And then I was like, oh, that's really cool. But obviously there won't be that many, like not even close up in Queensland. But they got probably like 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah,
just
wow.
that training session. I was like, we're in the middle of Gold Coast. Like,
why
why
are
are
there
South
South
fans here?
And Queensland's locked down as well. You can't enter.
Yeah, exactly.
So where are they
It's
coming
like,
from?
It's just coming out of the woodwork.
South fans everywhere.
Yeah,
man.
it's so
crazy.
sick. Like, and like you go to things just like events and that, and you just see random Souths.
Random
jerseys.
Souths guy,
It's
yeah.
unbelievable. Like we got to be the most popular team in the whole world. Like we're just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that was sick. And then obviously we went up and in the game, like I just remember walking out. If there's any, sort of like we had a photo in the gym last year, and it's like all the boys lined up about to sing the national anthem, and then like in that photo, I've just got a massive smile on my face. I just couldn't stop smiling the whole time.
Yeah.
It was so surreal to be a part of. Looking out like at the crowd, and it was just absolutely packed, 75% packed.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, but like it would have been a full house had it not been restricted. And then it was I sort of was pinching myself a little bit to be in that position, and then to be a part of the game. I think I played like 50 odd minutes too, because Jai had the head knock early on, so I was just sort of thrown in there when he come off. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But again, I'll never watch the game back.
Yeah.
I don't think I could put myself through that emotionally. It was a tough one to take, obviously coming so close at the end with that
So close.
missed goal from Reno. It was kind of heartbreaking. But yeah, it's still like to be a part of, like I know players have never played in a prelim, let alone a grand final.
Or a
and then
finals match.
yeah,
like
well
anything.
before I come to South, I'd never played a single finals match, and then just to go beat Penrith, which was an unbelievable result, get the win against Manly, and then play in the grand final is kind of cool. And then it's you sort of get a taste for it, and you want to go back.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of sad last year that I didn't get the chance to with the shoulder, but like we got such a great squad. There's no reason why we can't be there again.
100%. We're there every year. Prelim.
Yeah.
Like, we're always thereabouts. It's just getting that next step.
Well, we've got a very similar team to last year.
Yeah,
So
besides the GOAT and Nicarima.
yeah. We so that's the only real losses there. So we've got a very, very similar team. So I think we can build on it, and well, that's the goal.
Where do you reckon we'll finish if you had to predict unbiased?
Unbiased first.
And biased?
And biased first, obviously. Yeah.
100%. Mine and
Yeah.
Prems.
Yeah, well, that's like we sort of we're chasing that. We want to be the best.
Yeah.
So that's like you'd be silly not to have that sort of mentality. So yeah, we've been sort of driving that in throughout the preseason, and it's been good. Everyone's bought in, and yeah, now we just got to go out there and play our game.
Moving away from footy now, we saw your side hustle, your online presence, ex-Hosty.
Hosty with two Ys.
Bit of a Twitch streamer. Started it in 2019 and getting it going. since then.
Yeah. So it was sort of something like I remember, like I used to watch Twitch streams when I was at home, nothing doing, and I was like, instead of watching a TV show, I like TV shows, but I've never been massive on them.
Yeah.
And I'd rather watch someone play some stupid game and listen to them and have a laugh than.
Yeah.
And so I was watching a bit, and I was like, oh, I could probably do that. And I remember when I first started it, I actually did like streams, but no camera, so no one would know who I was. And I was just doing it like no one watching, obviously,
Yeah.
just
Just
so I
the
could get
audio?
it. Yeah, and it's just so
Or-
I could get a vibe of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could play games and talk absolute rubbish. So then I was like, I'll put it on my socials because that'll probably get a little bit of traction. Thinking there'd be no one interested. I was just some young fella from living down in Wollongong doing absolute rubbish. So, and then so I've chucked it out once, and I think the first stream I did, I had like 20 viewers, and I was like, oh, that's not bad. Like,
That's good. Yeah.
it's a good starting point. It's more than some people that I've watched that stream every day.
You just got to imagine like 20 people in a room.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's be kind of weird having 20 people in this room.
Watching you play games.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, do this. But yeah, and then so I did it a little bit in 2019. Nothing serious. Very, very rarely. There was times where like I'd go out and on the drink and get home, and then I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna jump on, like, have a couple more drinks and try. Yeah. Like it was just something to sort of kill a bit of time. But then when COVID hit, that's when I sort of was like, shit, I can really like give this a proper crack because I've got nothing but time. Like
Yeah.
it was 2020,
much time to
COVID just
kill.
hit. Yeah, the comp had shut down.
Yeah.
There was nothing doing. Everyone was just at home on their computers looking, like no sport,
Yeah,
nothing during the day to do. And I was like, right, I'll start doing this. Started streaming. And then I think I started off, I'd play like 2K, and it was me and Jordy Pereira. And just jam 2K for hours, like every day. and I'd be streaming it. And it started sort of building a bit of traction. Geordie streamed for a bit. I don't know if he still does, but it sort of just started building up that following, making a community. Like there's people like that I met through streaming that I still am in contact now. And like,
Oh, really?
yeah. And so in 2020, it's like, it started off with just a computer, like 2 shitty monitors and like a webcam. And like, I think it was like a mic that was broken. So I had it around my neck, and that was like, that's why I was getting the audio to like go through the stream. And then I was like, right, if I'm going to have a crack, I'll buy like a proper mic.
Yeah.
Nothing like this. I'm not up to this. And then I got like I had an old camera, an old DSLR camera that I sort of got connected to, so it would look nicer. And I was like, oh, I'm getting professional. Building. And then it probably hit its absolute peak just before the competition moved up to Queensland last year, or not last year, in 2021. Sorry, where I was streaming every day, because like we could go, like we were so restricted what we could do. Go to training, go to the shops, and that was it.
Yeah, you're in the bubble. Like,
can't do anything. And so I was like, sweet, this is what's gonna get me through. Like,
and you're gonna play those games anyway.
Exactly.
Sure.
It's either like I can play it and entertain people, or I can just play it and entertain myself.
So why not both?
Might as well. Get out there. And it's like, obviously, like I understand like people going through shit times in COVID. Like they want something to escape as well.
Some stimulation.
And like I've like it's been pretty cool, like to build that community, and then move up to Queensland, and it was tough to stream up there because the internet was terrible.
Oh, really?
Very
in the
frustrating.
hotel,
Yeah. And but like we had some good streams where I'd just be there, have the camera set up, and then I'd be like, my door's open, boys, you just want to come through, I'm streaming. And like we'd have Tom Burgess come in, we'd have Damien Cook, Cody come in, Latrell come in, and it's like all the people, and they're like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is the best thing ever. I think I got up to like 400 viewers or something at one stage. Like this, like for me, like that was huge.
Yeah.
But it was tough up there, and obviously like I was like, I want to sort of focus on footy a bit. So it sort of died down a bit until I got home. But streaming was like
real fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I need to get back into it, to be honest.
Who were some of the better players, like apart from yourself?
Well, there was like different games. People had experts. So Josh Mansour is an absolute weapon at FIFA. He's no life, just sit there playing it all day. So we had like a FIFA comp up in Queensland in our first hotel that we were in. And it was me and him in the final, and he absolutely towed me up. It was like 4-0 at halftime. And I was like, bro, do you guys side? Like, honestly.
Who's your go-to team in FIFA?
I was playing as France because I like they got a quick midfield, and then obviously Mbappe is ridiculous. He towed me up with Portugal, so like they're not even that good.
France are better as well.
He loves Ronaldo.
Kind of embarrassing. I should probably never brought that up. Then like you got the boys that play COD all the time. We had like Braden Burns is really good at COD as well. And then we had the Fortnite crew where it was like me, Lockie, Jed, Cody Walker sucks at it. And you just get angry all the time. so good to stir him up.
Is he always angry?
Nah, he's the best bloke ever, honestly. It's just, he's super competitive, and he just hates it. I've even heard like stories of him versing his son in 2K and getting towed up, but his son like will let him know about it, and he's like, nah, this is shit. That's so good. Grumpy old man. It's like, it's funny you look around, like, there's a lot of gamers in footy. It's just people sort of like, they're a little bit hesitant to show it. But then like there was a period where there was heaps of streamers from NRL. Like there was a Geordie Kahu was probably another big one for it. Jordan Ricky did a bit of streaming. Jordan Pereira. Dallin was big. Yeah, Chi used to do it. Michael Cheekham. I remember a couple of Alex Glenn as well. He's still doing stuff for Call of Duty, and I think he got flown over to New Zealand or something to do.
Wow,
so there's a lot of opportunities that come out of it. I remember messaging a few boys. Like we had to, like we were planning to do like a big thing, but we never actually ended up doing it, which was probably a missed opportunity. Even the bloke in a bar, he ran like a COD comp with all the boys, which is pretty cool. I streamed that and it got like heaps of exposure. So it's like, it's sort of just like the way the world's gone, hasn't it?
It's a cool place that the NRL sort of, like the media game's heading towards. There's all these content creators like us, like see Bloke in a Bar, Hello Sport, all them, they're just putting out content, more rugby league for all the fans to consume.
100%. And that's like, the fans want that. Like they want that stuff that they can just sit back scroll through TikTok. I don't have to watch 30 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I remember reading something. It was like people just they'll literally lose interest within 10 seconds. Like,
Attention
So-
span
You don't-
shot now.
I'm a
You don't engage them
goldfish.
in that first
yeah.
done.
So hopefully
Flick
I'm
on.
giving you plenty here.
Yeah, so your first lines have to be engaging. What about Rugby League Live 5? That came out. Will you be all over that?
I probably will. I used to be massive on it when I was like the old rugby league games, like 1, 2, and 3, like
so
back on
good.
PlayStation
Yeah,
2.
old school.
Back when you could just get like, I remember because I played with the Dragons, I just get Nathan Blacklock and run back to the in goal, run sideways and run all out and beat like
That's the
Melbourne
way.
108-0. Shit, I'm like, I'm obviously playing on the easiest mode, but like I used to be huge on it, and then it was kind of cool. Like you get into the games a little bit, doesn't look anything like me in any of them. I actually missed. So they came through to Redfern and did all the head scans.
Oh, really?
But I had COVID the day that it came.
Oh, no.
So I
How long
missed
ago
it.
was that?
So
Oh,
filthy.
what?
It was like it was just before our first trial last year.
Yeah,
It was like the day that they came into the scans, and I came in, and that was when we were still doing testing every day.
Yeah.
And the testing, and like you're positive. And I was like, you're fucking kidding.
You're gonna get one of those
It's
default
like, I'm
places.
just gonna get like generic player 3.
Oh, okay.
Filthy.
Now this is even better, this segment. We got a segment called Play On or Penalty. So it's pretty straightforward. We'll tell you something and you either say play onto it.
Yeah.
Which is agreed.
Yeah.
And penalty, no. Or if you like really off it,
Yeah.
sin bin, report. You can go as far as you
Grade 3, grade 4, whatever you want. How
Whatever you
that's
want.
the
Throw 'em out
scale.
the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just tell us how you
Suspended
feel.
for life.
Yeah,
Okay.
sweet.
Having protein shake with water.
Yeah, sweet. That's play on.
Yeah?
Yeah, always.
6 again?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I always have protein
Really?
with water.
Why
Yeah,
with water?
I don't know. It just goes down a bit better. Obviously, it tastes good with milk. Like
Yeah.
I like that, but I don't know. It just doesn't sit right in my stomach. Maybe I'm lactose intolerant.
I'm a waterman too.
Gives me the shits. Yeah, yeah. That's play on massive.
Play on.
100%. Nick,
Next one, drinking milk straight out of the bottle.
Play on.
Play on?
I used to do that all the time when I was younger. But that's probably.
no.
And now I haven't done it in a while. It's probably why my guts get crook whenever I drink milk. Yeah, I was
like straight from the fridge?
straight from the fridge. My
just put it back
parents
in.
used to absolutely tear shreds off me. I used to be this was like when I was young, like under 10. I used to drink milk and take bites out of the cheese, like the block of cheese. I was a freak. Just pure dairy. I just like got my tolerance up so high and then just stopped. And that's why it's like I can't tolerate any of it. I remember I used to take bites out of the cheese, but try and make it like I'd cut it with.
Yeah, like,
It's like it's still my teeth marks are in there. Like, what am I thinking? Like, I was the biggest idiot when I was younger.
we heard the yarn about the AFL player. He replaced all his water intake
What's
with milk.
doing with that?
Yeah.
Like, that can't be sweeter.
Yeah, so Brandon's doing up to like 2 to 3 litres a day.
Or milk.
And like
just
for
surely the
training as
game's
well
off
instead of
charts.
water or
How does he
Gatorade.
not throw up?
I don't know. That's sickening.
See, that's like life suspension. Kick him out of the
Yeah,
game.
you got it, okay. You got it pretty well.
Yeah.
What about eating potato and gravy from KFC with a spoon? Straight out the tub.
That's a tough one because it tastes good, but you feel so terrible after. That's probably play on too. Yeah,
Yeah, we're just playing on to everything.
Yeah,
Love it.
I love everything.
That's actually my favorite.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
a
good.
sucker. Just a little size.
I'd rather that
Give me
than
a
the cup.
spoon and just bang.
Even like just don't even worry about the spoon. Drink it.
I can do that.
KFC's got to be one of the quickest like instant regrets to like finish ratio.
Instantly, like you're literally smacking a zinger box, and
then
then
you
the
feel
second you just like finish, just like whoa.
Oh, in the moment, it's so bloody good.
You feel so sick.
Sometimes it's worth it.
Oh, debatable.
Last one, buying strangers a drink on a night out. Playing or penalty.
Oh, look. Only if it's shots. And then it's sweet. What did we get? Was it
Fireball.
Fireball?
I
Was
hate
it?
fireball shots as well.
Yeah, so for
I was
those-
like,
It's
fuck.
funny how
For those
how many
listening at
people.
home, they don't know the backstory. So
Yeah.
pretty much me and Jimmy were at Bungalow just having a good time. And we turn around, Hosty's there. So he's
Just
coming up to the bar
charging.
and we're just like, Hosty, mate, how you going? Like, we're all off our heads at that stage. So I'm surprised I remember.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about South, bought us a shot, a few
Yeah.
drinks. And then, that's how, and we're like, come on the potty. And then
He's got me at a
look where
great
you
time.
are.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the rest is history.
Always when you're drunk, it's like, yeah.
I can't believe you said yes to Fireball because there's so many people that
hate
cannot
it.
stand it. Like, I love Fireball. That used to be my
I
go-to
love
drink,
Fireball.
Fireball and Coke.
Really?
But then I remember I bought
Oh,
around.
Coke.
I bought a Fireball and
Fireball
Coke.
Coke?
Yeah.
Really?
It's so
Don't
good.
mind Fireball and apple juice.
That's another great combo. But I remember I bought the boys because that used to be my drink, Fireball Coke, and then I bought the boys a round of it, and then I just got absolutely like berated. Like
Oh,
I
100%.
was,
That's
really?
a terrible mix.
and I was like,
I don't know how you love
yeah, probably should never do that ever again.
Yeah, nah, I can't do any shots at all. So when you got the fireball shot, I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do?
I was like, I looked at you like, you better fucking do
I
it.
just fucking held my breath straight down. Like fucking
That's right, you did these ones.
couldn't let you down.
Yeah, you didn't. You did not.
One thing that we like to do with all our guests is we give them a little quiz on their careers. Okay. So we've got 5 questions here.
No pressure.
Let's see how well you know it. So don't have a look.
Okay.
You're
have
a
look. I got the blinkers on. The blinkers are on.
Exactly. All right, first question. In 2016, you scored your first NRL try against the Newcastle Knights by capitalising on a significant opening in the line by Gareth Widdop.
Correct.
Allowing you to run for 20 metres in open space and put the ball down for your first try. So the question is, can you recall the names of the 2 Newcastle Knights players who left the gap for you to run through?
Red
Barnett and Jack Cogger.
Oh, I got one of them. I'm going to go again. So Barnett was correct.
Barnett.
You're right. Cogger was involved because he ran,
close.
but he jammed Cogger. There was someone, the centre.
The centre, was it Elliott?
It was Brendan Elliott.
Yeah, he's good.
There you go. I was going to say I'd also beat Peter Mataudia at the fullback position, out position. Okay.
Yeah.
Outran him.
Give you the point.
Speed.
Just roasting the whole Knights lineup. But you guys won 30-18, so it's a good way to come off the try.
Yeah, I think that was like my first touch in the game too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Straight
Pretty
through the gap.
stoked. Thanks, Gareth.
He was a gun.
Freak. Still is a gun.
Is he still playing?
Yeah, I think he plays.
Plays in it.
He's over in the Super League.
Yeah,
still.
yeah, yeah.
I think he just retired from
International.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Second question. Which NRL team have you never lost a game against?
That's a great question.
That's what we're here for.
I only think we're here for.
Never lost a game against. Shit, that's hard.
Who are you thinking?
I'm thinking. No, it's not Newcastle. I remember we got beat up in Mudgee against them.
It's not Newcastle.
I was going to say Melbourne, but I remember we did get beat against them once.
Yeah, we always lose to Melbourne. Eh?
Yeah. But I've never lost to them for South.
Really?
Never lost to. Is it just, it's only one
It's
team?
only one team. You've beaten them 3 out of 3 times. If that helps.
It'd be the Dragons, wouldn't it?
It's the Dragons. Oh, it's the Dragons.
But you got there.
And fun fact, against Souths, your current team, you've actually never won a game.
Never won a game.
3 games, 3 losses.
We just got pumped every time we played South.
Is that why you went over? You're like, there must be something to do with saying right.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy, you want to ask this one?
Yeah. What is your goal kicking percentage in the NRL?
0%. I had one shot against Canberra.
How did that happen? What, they just thought
So
everyone was crook. They're like,
Because I looked, there was like Corey Norman in the team, Dusty, was there, all these goal kickers.
So it was 2019, and I think we had a tough ride of games. Gareth, I think he'd done his shoulder again, so he was out. He wasn't playing, so that's our main goal kicker. Normie had been kicking terribly, so he got the flick, and it was Tim Laffey was kicking.
yeah.
And I think he missed 2 goals before that, and he was like, the trainer can't give him the tee, and he was like, no, I don't want to kick, I don't want to kick. And I was like, sorry, I'll just put it down and just try and put
Have
it
you ever
through.
kicked before?
Yeah, I used to goal kick when I was younger.
What,
but like,
front row goal kicker?
yeah, I was an absolute unicorn. I've just like literally put it down, taken like 3 sets back, and it just faded across.
Where
the
was
front.
it from?
They went. It was
The
from.
sideline.
Yeah, it was pretty much the sideline.
okay.
They didn't even show it because like we were getting like comfortably beaten by Canberra, and I think it was like they were showing the replay, and I'd done it so quick that you hardly even saw the kick. so people don't even remember they did it,
Yeah,
or they
surprising
don't
we
even know it was
found
me.
So I was looking at the stats and I saw 0%. I was like, he is not. There is no
Would have been
way.
way more embarrassing. It was like in front. Or something.
Yeah. Well, so far you're doing well. 3 out of 3.
Hell yeah.
Flying. So
Question
you've
number
already
4. Which jersey number have you worn the most times in your career?
Ooh.
Oh, sorry, it's multiple choice as well.
Okay.
I'll give you a clue.
I haven't
11?
mind.
14, 15, or 16?
16.
16?
Oh, really?
So close,
No,
though.
not
close.
So close.
What would be a second guess?
15.
15. You've worn
Really?
it 20 times because
Wow.
you used it at
16,
South a
18
lot.
times. So it's not far off.
Yeah. I thought I used 16 heaps when I was at the Saints.
It was 11 at a lot at Saints as well.
Yeah.
16 times there, and then obviously at South.
I wore
15.
it heaps like the last 2 years. 15,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully by the end of this year, you got that number 11 jersey ticking over.
What's that? What's that in that?
That's 16. So
16.
Nice.
4 more games. Not including trials. So exactly. And final question. So we spoke before you're a Twitch streamer.
Yes.
Can you tell me which game has been the most streamed game on your Twitch channel since you started it?
It's between 2.
What are the 2?
2K. Was it a specific 2K?
It's not 2K.
It's not 2K.
What's the other one?
Warzone.
Yeah.
Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone.
Yeah,
So from
yeah.
2020 to 2021, you streamed and played the game over 228 hours.
That sounds so sad.
That's equivalent to 10 whole days.
Hey, it was COVID. Lockdown.
Yeah, what else was I going to do?
It was
Honestly,
COVID.
honestly.
Mate, that's crazy. I can't believe it.
so much.
We do our research here. We don't miss anything.
Honestly, it's so thorough. I wasn't expecting the jersey number caps.
Yeah, that always rattles everyone.
Yeah, people have been like way off before.
Yeah, except Nichols, he knew because he's always in 15. So
Yeah.
he's like 100%
Yeah.
15. But yeah.
But follow ex-Hosty with double Y.
2 Y's at the end, baby.
But well, that was the quiz, and we like to ask our guests what their go-to Maccas order is.
Oh, sweet. That's easy.
Have you got one?
Easy.
Yeah, Big Mac meal with a large strawberry thick shake
Well, yeah.
and 20 nuggets
What?
with Big Mac sauce.
All Big Mac sauce for the nuggets?
All Big Mac sauce.
What?
I used to be heavy on the sweet and sour. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
like
So
the
class.
That's
the
the
OG.
go.
It's
Yeah.
the OG.
Yeah.
But Big Mac sauce for your nuggets changes.
Really?
Yeah.
See
Is this
how
after-
when you sweet and sour and aioli and you mix them both
Oh,
and it's
really?
grouse.
Oh,
No, have
Give
that.
it a go.
best.
It's actually the best
It's the
combo.
car
I'll give it a
special.
crack. I'll give it a
Yeah.
crack.
How often
So
do you get
sick.
this Maccas order?
Not very often. Only like 3 times a week. No, it's pretty rare. Yeah, probably like every couple of weeks.
So
More-
it's not like your post game feed or anything?
Nah,
Or-
like usually post game feed, I only feel like ice cream, so I'll just get like a McFlurry and a strawberry thick shake.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Strawberry thick shake with 20 nuggets. That's
Strawberry-
heavy.
It is. It is heavy.
With a large
I've got
Big
the
Mac
iron
meal.
stomach, but
Jesus.
not like on the way back out.
100%. And the last thing we do for all our guests is we need you to sign Hasbulla.
Hell yeah.
The king. So
My boy.
You pick a
Your boy.
spot.
That's my boy.
And you actually met Hasbulla.
Did met
How
Hasbulla.
tall is he compared to
He
this
is
cutout?
honestly half.
like half the cutout?
Yeah, he wouldn't be any taller than like his chin.
Wow. So
Yeah.
this doesn't do him
That's
justice.
unreal.
No.
How'd South organise
He's
that?
so
They
small.
just message him or?
I think Lockie Ilias is related to one of the security guard in the
Oh
team.
my
Oh, wow.
god.
And then
He had
sort of-
Russian heritage.
No, well, he hired the security when he come over.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so he knew the security team and hit him up and was like, look, what are the chances of getting Hasbulla to come? They surprised everyone, like, so there was
Really?
So no one even
no
knew
one
about
knew,
it,
and
no
so
real
they
word.
just said the day that he came, it was like, all right, everyone, after you finish gym, stay in the gym. We got a team meeting,
Oh my god.
thinking we're going to go through some sort of something from the session.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we're all in there, and we're like, oh, everyone started saying like, oh, maybe it's someone's coming to see us, like Shaq's in Australia.
Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe Shaq will come. No one, not a single person thought Hasbulla.
Not Hasbulla.
Like it was crazy. And then so we're all standing there, and I actually filmed it. Like we all were filming.
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And then it's like he sort of was walking down. We just saw all this security. Couldn't see him because there's like a window where like the corridor where he's walking down, and we just saw all this security. Like who's here? And then he sort of walks around the corner. He's like the smallest human being I've ever
Oh
seen.
my
It's honestly like surreal how small it is. And then we've all just erupted like, yeah, like going absolutely nuts. Like, what is happening? Like, he's probably top 20 famous people in the
Oh,
world.
everyone
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
Hasbulla.
You say Hasbulla, everyone knows exactly
Everyone knows
who
every
it
single
is.
everywhere in the world. It's
And he was at
crazy.
Redfern.
I know.
Like, what's doing?
With
But
the
like,
South boy.
yeah, and then we presented him with like, so we had like a WWE belt that we give to like the biggest lifter of the gym after a whole preseason, and we gave it to him, and he took it and didn't give it back.
Oh, wrapped it.
He has it.
Hasbulla stole your belt.
Yeah, he's got the belt. And then so like he like came in and everyone was taking photos with him. We talked to him. He punched Cam in the head.
was the best.
And then he went back into the lockers because he was hungry. He'd been traveling all day, and then they got him a bunch of pizza and like. And then you don't realize, like, obviously his stomach's not as big as everyone.
Yeah.
So he finished like they got him like 5 pizzas, a bunch of like pies and everything like that. And he had one slice and like that was it. Like,
That's it.
like, so all the boys like, sweet, we'll get some pizza. Yeah, and then he just literally just got out of there, flew down to Melbourne, and continued his tour of Australia.
mental.
Like he would honestly not remember that he did it,
Oh,
but like
no chance.
I will never forget that he came. And I got to meet Hasbulla.
How
It
long was
so
he actually
sick.
there for?
He wouldn't have been there any longer than 25 minutes.
Really?
He was
Okay.
in and out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so sick.
That's
but
mental.
Yeah, we played like the John Cena theme. Like it's on my Instagram. Like I still like the post still gets likes.
Yeah.
Today it's
Just
actually
keeps ticking
sick.
over.
Yeah,
right?
he's just
We have one as well, and it just doesn't stop.
it doesn't stop. Like I'm honestly
crazy.
constantly getting notifications. Like it's honestly exhausting. it's pretty surreal. But and then obviously the GOAT, he's just there.
He's literally the GOAT.
there. Yeah.
He's the GOAT. No one
the
better.
best ever. I'm in love with him. I used to put it on my Instagram every day, like my mood for the day, and it'd be Hasbulla doing
Like
something.
different moods.
Yeah, like it'd be him in the
So
spa,
many
like just chilling out. It'd be him on like a jet ski. Or like, It'd be him like taking like a business call. It's like, sweet, that's the mood for the day.
Him with his like hair all the way up. My
Yeah,
favourite.
yeah.
Him like with a selfie
man.
camera, like eating something or
He's
something.
a sex
So
symbol,
good.
man.
But look, we do thank you very much for coming on,
thank
Hosty.
you
You've
so
been
much for having me.
honestly a pleasure and one of our favourite guests so far. And
Thank
wish you all the best for the 2023 season.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Go the bunnies.
Up the bunnies.
See you guys.
Hey.
See you guys.